Welcome back to Angelina's Analysis. I'm your host, Angelina, and today we will be exploring a beautiful work by Tacy M. Atsiti titled Anasazi. I was initially very intrigued by this poem from the title alone. Since I didn't know the definition of anasazi, I was curious and confused as to what the poem would be about. After some research, I discovered that anasazi is a term derived from the Navajo language, and it means ancient enemy relating to ancestry, and is seen as a very disrespectful regard to one's ancestors in the Navajo culture. Upon more research, I found that the poet, Tacy M. Atsiti, is what we call, and I may butcher this, so I apologize in advance, but a Diné Navajo poet. The word Diné is from the Navajo culture, and it means the people in its language. Atsiti's main goal as a poet is to shine light on her Navajo heritage and the people of her culture. However, this poem can be looked at through a very general lens, and it may apply to anyone's life, regardless of heritage. Before I read this poem, I want everybody to take a second and breathe. In and out. You'll see why later. So without further ado, here's Anasazi by Tacy M. Atsiti. How can we die when we're already prone to leaving the table mid-meal, like ancient ones gone to breathe elsewhere? Salt sits still, but pepper's gone, rolled off in a rush. We've practiced dying for a long time, when we skip dance or town, when we chew. We've rounded out like dining room walls in a canyon, eaten through by the wind. Sorry we rushed off, the food wasn't ours. Sorry the grease sits white on our plates and the jam that didn't set. Use it as syrup to cover every theory of us. I think a huge takeaway that I had from this poem was her thoughts on living life in a constant state of rush. This reminded me of the mindset which I had when COVID first hit. Pre-March 2020, when life was normal, I was constantly busy doing different things. I was in sports and heavily involved in academics. Even though it was middle school, I was quite sweaty when it came to workloads. It was kind of weird. And I rarely focused on other things that mattered, like my dog, my bunny rabbit, and my other hobbies outside of schoolwork. However, when COVID hit, I felt as if life took a pause, and for the better. I still prioritized school for a good week, because we all know how that went. But in the beginning stages of COVID, it gave me a sense of peace. I was able to focus on other things that mattered, taking life one step at a time, as there was not really anywhere else to go. I started walking my dog more often, spending lots of time with my bunny, and even tapping into my hobbies like journaling, skateboarding, and playing guitar. It was during this pause that I truly felt the beauty of life. Learning to enjoy the small things, like early morning walks with my dog, reflecting my emotions through pen and paper, and even calming rain showers after a hot day. In this pause, I felt the most alive I have ever felt. However, as life returns back to normal and school, work, and other factors return to my daily routine, I find it more and more difficult to hit that same pause button as I once did in 2020. After reading Anasazi, I was reminded of the importance of living life step by step, as the way she described this very situation of living in a rush perfectly. This poem made me feel somewhat sorry for the way I live, as her words made me regret my rushed lifestyle. It almost felt as if someone was scolding or confronting me for living the way I do. Atsiti has a very unique way of conveying her tone. Her words really describe how it feels to be in a situation that she's talking about. The tone of this poem was a large factor to my understanding and appreciation for this poem. At first, it almost felt as if there was somebody scolding me for living the way I do. Atsiti began the poem with some food for thought, a rhetorical question. How can we die when we are already prone to leaving the table mid-meal, like ancient ones gone to breathe elsewhere, conveying this emotion of disappointment in the rushed lifestyle? Wow, she's calling us out, basically saying that we are already dead as we are so acclimated to constantly moving from one thing to the next. Why are we content with leaving things unfinished? In the end of the poem, Atsdi switches to a regretful tone, saying, "Sorry we rushed off," almost apologizing for the lifestyle described in the previous stanzas, taking back anything that she had done before. These tones really brought out a lot of emotion while I read it. Beginning with an unwanted confrontation and ending with a regretful apology, I really felt connected to this poem by the end of it. Admittedly, this poem took a couple good read-throughs and physical annotations to truly understand the concept for me. In anasazi, Atsidi uses many figurative language elements that play a large factor to the beauty of this piece in her constant symbolism and figurative language such as personification, metaphors, and similes. I would like to point out one unique simile that she used, like ancient ones gone to breathe elsewhere. Well, in addition to this unique way of saying, "you're dead," I really liked how this line ties into the poem Anasazi, which, as we know, relates to ancestry and people that have come before us. Atsidi uses figurative language in her poem to paint a visual scene of a dining table, comparing our completeness to the dining room walls in a canyon that have been eaten through by the wind, salt and pepper rolling off in a rush, and grease that lays white on our plates, and jam that never set, which perhaps are some of my favorite examples of symbolism within this poem. Atsidi uses the example of salt sitting still while pepper's gone, rolled off in a rush, to symbolize two significant others, in which the pepper partner has passed away, leaving salt on the earth. The grease that sits white on our plates representing the mess we leave on earth when we die, as well as the jam that never set, also known as the unfinished works we leave behind. Atsidi was successful in getting her theme across. It's simple. Life is short and death is unpredictable, but we can make our lives even shorter and more insignificant by rushing through it and not living in the moment. Again, let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Meditate on this. Really think about taking a real pause in life. We all need it. That's how we truly live. Thank you for listening to this installment of Angelina's Analysis. I encourage you all to take a look at Anasazi yourself and let me know what your thoughts are on this beautiful work. And remember, take life day by day, minute by minute, second by second. Enjoy and live in the moment. It's the only way to truly be alive. So clean your grease, set that jam, and don't be pepper.